to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, I do have two items to remove. Remove item 8.4, removal of names, number A, the admin secretary. So we'll remove that one, as well as the closed session, item number 9.
Okay, so do a motion to approve the agenda modified by removing item 8.4A and number. Now second. All in favor? Introduction of guests. We have permanent guests as well. And thank you for being here. Judy is here too. Thank you. Then we have 3.4, get questions from the floor, not on the agenda. None. 3.5, questions from the floor on items that are on the agenda will be entertained at the time the item is under consideration. 3.6, questions or input from district employees. 3.7, questions or input from district management. Okay, 3.8, questions or input from CSEA. Number 4, report from the personnel director. Want to go ahead, Joe?
I will go ahead. Welcome, everybody. Happy May. The recruitments that we opened since the last commission meeting include the accounting manager, risk manager, school office manager bilingual Spanish, secretary bilingual Spanish. Examinations were conducted for the following classifications since the last commission meeting: campus aide, written test, structured interview; community liaison, bilingual Spanish, technical project, structured interview; instructional assistant 2, bilingual Korean, and IA2, bilingual biliterate Korean, structured interview, and the bilingual biliterate test; instructional assistant 2, bilingual biliterate Mandarin, structured interview, and the bilingual biliterate test; instructional assistant 2, IA2 bilingual, and IA2 bilingual biliterate Spanish. I should have added Spanish in there. Structured interview, as well as the bilingual biliterate test. Library technician, technical project, and structured interview. Senior office assistant, bilingual biliterate Spanish, was computer testing, structured interview, and the bilingual biliterate test. Referral lists were issued for the following classifications since the last commission meeting: admin secretary, cafeteria lead worker 1, community liaison, bilingual Spanish, custodian, full food service assistant 1, 8 positions; food service assistant 1 substitute, 3 positions; grounds maintenance worker substitute, instructional assistant 1, instructional assistant 2, bilingual biliterate Korean, instructional health care assistant, library technician, nutrition services supervisor, office assistant substitutes, senior office assistant, bilingual biliterate Spanish. And new employees that were processed into the following classifications: 1 assistant director of nutrition services, she started today; 1 custodian; 1 instructional assistant 2; 1 irrigation system technician; 5 office assistant substitutes; 1 office assistant bilingual biliterate Mandarin; 1 school police officer; 1 senior technology specialist; and 1 technology support manager. The Rowland Unified 2016 Employee of the Year Recognition Dinner will be held on Wednesday, May 18th at 5:30 at the Diamond Bar Center, located in Diamond Bar. RSVPs were due on May 6th, and I know a couple, both of the commissioners here are attending as well as I am. Thanks for the invitation. The Personnel Commission staff is getting ready for our annual celebration lunch for all the classified employees on Thursday, May 19th from 11:30 to 2:30 p.m. Swing on by for lunch. and wear your favorite sports jersey. A barbecue lunch will be served consisting of hamburgers, hot dogs, a vegetarian option burger, chips, salad, fruit, apple pie, Cracker Jacks, and more. We have more than 403 who have RSVP'd for the event. That's more than last year. We had 350. CSEA will have a table at the event and will be handing out homemade popcorn using their new popcorn machine. On Tuesday, May 24th, at the board meeting at 4:30 p.m., the board will recognize 47 employees who have served Rowland Unified for 25, 30, 35, and even 40 years. The personnel commissioners are welcome to attend this celebration.
Thank you. So our celebration for is on May 19th. It's on Thursday.
It's on Thursday.
Thank you. And we need to conduct number 5, conduct the public hearings on the proposed personnel commission budget for fiscal year 2016 to 2017. It's a reference to 5. So we should open this one. I need to put that.
The gavel.
Should be in the drawer.
Okay, so the hearing will be open on 4:44.
I've got a question on a couple of different things related to the budget. As we reviewed the figures that were presented to the cabinet for the budget, and looking at the classified salaries between 2014-15, did you include in the compensation increases from 14-15 to 15-16? Or did you lump them into the 16-17 numbers?
No, it happened in 2014-15. I started here in August 2014, and the budget was prepared before then, and as we know, the budget was not approved until September 9th of 2014. So none of those increases of the 4 plus 4 was included in the 2014-15 budget at that time. This is actual numbers, actually, so yes, now when we ended the year, so this is lumped into there, but my budget that was approved by the commission early in May of 2014 didn't have that budget. But these numbers have the 8% in there, yes.
What I'm looking at is the difference between 2014-15's column 1 actuals and column 2's 2015-16?
You're looking at the one in the agenda. I was looking at Eric Hart's. Okay, got it. Okay, let me refer back to that.
So it's actually reference 6.1
Yeah.
to page 2.
Okay, so yes, those are actual dollar amounts, and that did include the 8% increase that, well, 4 plus 4.
For
that happened.
14-15.
Correct.
And then looking at the salaries for the director and secretaries and clerks, the difference between 14-15 and 15-16, I'm trying to calculate out how that came to be, because in the secretary clerk line, the 14-15 actuals at 257,732, if you were to add the off-schedule bonus as well as the increase in on-schedule, I would think that you're higher than 262,529. And in the director's salary line, we're showing a decrease of about $10,000 from 14-15 to 15-16.
So there's only one director and many secretaries and clerks, so obviously the increase of the 8% that was reflected, because not only did you pay the regular salary for 2014-15, but you had to increase it by 8%. So it was paid out in that period of time to...
What about the 15-16 year?
The increase from 15-16, is that in 15-16?
Yes, that 8% was included then.
No, the one
No,
we just
the
did.
current.
No, and we didn't know about the increase for 15-16 before, because those numbers are prepared in May of 2015. So nobody knew in 2015 what the increase would be. So it was, also, let me reflect back to 2014, you had to pay out the previous director who had extra vacation time, 2 months worth of vacation time accrued. And that's when I came in and he was at a higher rate than I was.
I think the column 2 here is the budget.
Correct. From
It's
last,
not actual, but column 1 is actual, so this is what the difference.
that's a very good point. So
Yeah,
2014-15 is
yeah,
actual
yeah,
numbers.
we got that.
2015-16 was based on
The budget.
the amount that we were going to, what we were getting paid.
So this was the budgeted amount last year?
Yes, that's just the exact budget that we presented to the district last year. These are the exact numbers, $602,912. On Mr. Hart's worksheet, which I did provide to the district admin and CSEA, he projected out on this paper, projected based on where we were gonna be at the end of this year with the bonuses and the 10% increase. And his numbers came to 607,848. So even with, because we did not spend the $10,000 class and comp money, it's padded in there a bit. And so his projection, of course, includes the class and comp amount, which we're not gonna end up paying out of our budget, so.
So for a clarifying question for me, because I'm presenting this tomorrow night,
Yes.
and this question has come up, the 16-17 budget that's being proposed
Yes.
appears to be larger because it actually includes 15-16 expenditures that were not accounted for in your 15-16 budget. Because there's a 6% increase in 15-16 retro to July 1,
Yes.
and a one-time expenditure that will be paid out in 15-16. It
Yes.
appears that the 15-16 one-time money is included in your 16-17 budget.
Yes. Mr. Hart prepared the budget and included the one-time of 4% and the ongoing 6%, which is,
Okay, so we have to look at that before you finish your budget, because that would not accurately reflect your 16-17 budget if one-time money is paid out in 15-16.
correct. It would, I don't know how that's gonna, when it's gonna land and when it's gonna be paid out.
It may,
Yeah.
this month.
Typically, we,
That was in the memo that went district-wide.
I thought some of the money was gonna be paid in September.
The one-time money.
Okay, right, which would hit, you're right, our 16-17 budget, which is not accounted for here. Because we have to present the budget in May, we don't know what increases could happen in the whole new year. But the 16-17 does include the 4%,
And the 6%
And the 6%.
ongoing.
yes.
And the 6% one-time.
I don't believe the one-time is included in these numbers. I have a spreadsheet here from Eric Hart that we could go over that list
Okay.
where he's getting that number of 636,743.
Are you, just for clarification, are you saying Eric Hart prepared the PC budget, or you prepared it?
I prepared it, I looked at the numbers of our salaries, and he furnished me all the little fringes that go along with salaries. I did my worksheet all the way across. We met, he did his worksheet, so that we could make sure that his numbers and our numbers matched, because otherwise, I wouldn't know where to come up with the numbers, but I wanted to at least agree with his numbers, because I know what our salaries are in our department.
So for me, for tomorrow night, the question that I need is, in the 16-17 budget, it should include the ongoing 15-16 increase, and it should include the ongoing 16-17, and it should include the one-time 16-17. It should not include the one-time 15-16. That's the question that's been asked of me at this point, and I didn't have an answer, so I
It
apologize.
is correct, yes. This new budget of 2016-17 is reflective of basically the 10 point whatever, .1, or whatever it is when you add 6% in 4. It includes that starting July 1st, and it includes the 6% one-time payout that's gonna happen in January.
Next year.
Yes,
So then
so,
the question is, does it include the 4% one-time that is gonna get paid this May?
in May. Well, that would be paid out in May, so that would be the 15, 16.
But you didn't,
But you
but
didn't
you
increase
didn't
the
know
budget.
it. So that's why we just, you and I just have to, because you guys are gonna approve this tonight, and
Yes.
then I've got, you need to know what you're approving, and I have to get it approved tomorrow night. But that's why, as I looked at it this weekend,
Mr. Hart furnished to me these numbers that he actually gave to Mr. Flores last month with the projection based on our current expenses, projecting it to the end of this year, based on all that information. And he came up with 2015-16 numbers ending with $607,000. That's on this sheet that I had given, but
but I don't have that sheet for tomorrow night for the board.
okay,
So
got it. Okay.
And I didn't have the answer, so I thought
Okay.
I would ask before you guys approved it, that was my
Okay.
question, so.
All right, no problem.
Just like the
It's great that we can actually project what the numbers are gonna be in 16, 17 and be accurate, because typically increases are approved in the middle of the year we're already in. So there's no way to go back. So this is nice to be able to truly reflect what our budget is going to be.
True, we just need to figure out where 15, 16 is falling
Okay.
in these numbers.
That would make sense, yeah.
I know that those questions are gonna come up.
Okay. Okay.
Then I do have one other question related to the budget. Do the projections for 16, 17 include the augmentation in hours that you were looking for?
Yes.
So how many hours are you looking to augment?
Going from 3.5 hours to 5.5 hours. And the total cost with that items presented, so you can have a bit of a backup, is $13,200 plus the fringes, which end up being $16,714, which is actually documented on item 5 of the hearing. The extra $63,000 that's in the budget is basically the 10% of salaries that have been increased. So item 5 does spell out the different amounts for you.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Item 5, how much is the actual hours of augmenting the personal technician salary gonna be? It's right here, you're very,
Yeah, it's the
very front.
right, and it's 2 hours.
2 hours more, yes.
That's all, 2 hours. So we're asking from 3.5 hours to 5.5, which kind of, so increased to 16,714
Yeah.
per year. So that would be included in the whole total number to 79,869.
Yes.
So then we're reducing 10,000 from the discretionary, right?
Because of the class
Because of
comp
the
study.
class and comp study. So net of these two amounts is about 69,000, close to 70,000, right? So the difference between the projected budget for the 16 to 17 years is about 70,000 more, which the majority is because of the increase, the 6% on schedule and the 4% on schedule thing, because of the increase of the salaries. And I think what Julie's question is some of it belong to the 15, 16 years, right?
Yeah,
Not
those are
16,
numbers
17.
we'll have to make sure what the projected would be with the salaries. I didn't really project that information. I got that information from Mr. Hart.
And I noticed kind of that our 15, 16 years, we're probably going to over the budget.
According to the projections, because of the increase in pay and the one-time buyouts, we're looking at $608,000 approximately, which means that we didn't spend most of our discretionary. We have money left in that. We've only spent about $30,000 of the $56,000 allotted at this point. I didn't project out. I don't have Eric's projections for the discretionary budget, because I didn't ask for those particular numbers, because what we were looking for is really salaries at this point to estimate that. Discretionary, that's what we control as far as, you know, our supplies and other expenses that are within our purview. Salaries is something that is approved via district.
So the salary portion is approved by the district, we're just adding it up to our budget, right? And the only increase, we actually decreased the 10,000 for the discretionary. We want to make sure though that the reason that we're decreasing 10,000 for the item that we said before is for the classification and composition study that we were going to do. But now we are promised that the district is going to pay for it for the future.
Yeah, I think if Alex or I don't know if you can speak to that regarding the class and comp study, because the $10,000 is coming out of our budget, which last year the union was wanting us to make sure we earmark that, so if you can speak to that.
We're very pleased to work with CSCA and Personnel Commission on leading this process that will give us information related to the salaries as well as job descriptions, and looking forward to getting that done as quickly as possible, hopefully within the next 12 months would be our goal. And the district is looking to pick up the cost for the outside consultant that would be running that process with us. I do have, Joan, another question or two. Have we taken a look at maximizing efficiencies within our processes for employment? Because when we look at the number of employees who were hired by the Personnel Commission in the 14-15 year, according to the personnel action reports from the governing board, there were 72 regular employees hired in the 14-15 year, and currently 57. And with a budget approaching $700,000 for next year, that's well over $10,000 per person hired. That seems rather high.
So you're saying in 14-15 you had how many employees, Sasa?
72.
And in 15-16?
At 15-16, we're at 57.
Well, I've been in the commission office for 1.5 years now, and the staffing, it seems to, that the staffing is not sufficient to get the work done with the current staff that we have. Efficiencies, I believe we're as efficient as we can be. NeoGov is an amazing system that the district purchased years ago. It helps us do salary studies, quick salary studies, if we have to compare other classifications with ours. It's not so quick though. It's quick at pulling the numbers. You still have to analyze and make sure that job description does the duties that you're polling. So it's not so quick. It's quick at pulling the numbers of other agencies. As far as efficiencies and sending, doing recruitments and people applying and screening applications and sending out notices and self-scheduling the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applicants we've had. And you're gonna see a huge increase this year in the number of applicants that truly applied for positions due to people wanting to work at Rowland. Because we have, for instance, grounds maintenance worker, 300 applicants applied. Admin secretary, over 250 applied. Secretary, we had 170 applied. We've never seen this number of applications. I can go back and just say that the number of applicants is probably, without penning it out, at least increased 50% of the year before. So with that comes added phone calls, added emails, added steps that we have to do to answer the questions and that come into the office. So the other thing, I know it's been our workload has increased due to the retirement incentive that happened with 38 people walking out, and I've really kept that into consideration with what I'm requesting, like just these 2 extra hours. We have a lot of vacancies, which Dennis asked me about, and there's a lot of IA2 vacancies. And there are 3-hour positions. I really believe we could do some target recruitment at the local colleges, but I just need people to connect with the professors there, people who are in the teaching program, or students in college or others, people who within the community who want to take on a 3-hour job. I'd like to do target recruiting for that to get the vacancies down. The also current need is my personnel analyst is averaging 5 to 10 hours of comp time every week, which when I have to give her the time off so it doesn't accumulate too high when she takes off. The other staff has to cover for this. The current personnel technician in the 3.5-hour position has, even before the retirement incentive, has averaged at least 10 to 20 hours a month extra, which is, if you look at it, it's just 5 hours a week. So the workload is there, and we are as efficient as we can be. I mean, if we didn't have NeoGov, I'd say, we need NeoGov, but we have NeoGov. It's just, spend a couple of days in the commission office, and you'll see nobody is twiddling their thumbs there.
Oh, and I would say that no one believes that anyone's twiddling their thumbs. It's just, we've done a little research into districts that have different structures in human resources, whether it's a combined human resources personnel commission process, whether there's separation between the two, between human resources and personnel commission, or whether there's not a merit system. And out of the 10 districts that we saw, just giving you just to look at this, Glendale, which has almost twice as many students as we do at 26,000, they combine their human resource and personnel commission, and they have basically the same size staff as we have when you combine both of our departments. You take a look at districts that are non-merit, and the ratio of employees to those employees in personnel and HR functions is significantly less than the employees that we currently have. And I just wonder what efficiencies we might be able to come up with by combining our resources and working together. Because these resources really do belong to the children in the district. And if we could achieve additional efficiencies out of our programs, that can much better serve the kids.
Yes, you know, I have read those reports that you put out too, and I don't think just picking out one number is showing what our personnel commission is doing. You need to look at the total numbers and everything that was mentioned in interviews, the number of jobs that have been. I can't believe this is one number done, but I think your job is very enormous, and that's why I really see that you do need the extra help. I'm surprised that you haven't asked for that extra help sooner, because you were cut a number of years ago with the budget cuts and never got that person back.
That's right.
And you have been functioning as best you can, and we appreciate the work you have done.
And just so I'm clear, so there's not a question. I understand there's overtime and things like that that are taking place, and maybe the additional couple of hours will help with some of that. But I believe that there are much greater efficiencies that we can reach, because we need to serve the district, and I think that we can do it better. I think we can do it in a much more cost-effective manner if we look at different structures. That's kind of the piece here.
We'll have that in a minute, so we'll take into that consideration of your suggestion, guys. And efficiency, I mean, you can say, we have applicants, and then we can pick the applicants like in 7 days if we just, boom, but it's not working like that. We are merit system, so merit system has a special codes and rules that we need to follow. Like there's a 2 weeks, whatever, the full day, we do all the process and all that. So there's some school that doesn't have merit system, they only have HR system, and they probably faster, you know, because they don't have the merit school districts, the rules to govern them, and we need to follow that. So efficiency, it all depends upon how you, I mean, if you want to compare numbers, then that's, you know, like Dolores is saying, it's just one number, it's not fair. We need to, if you want to compare number, we have to compare the whole system, you know, that how that school versus our school. So, but I appreciate your opinion, and we need to, I mean, we always have to work on efficiency. Thank you. Yeah.
I have a concern. I work for the HR department, and our department as well has been since 2008. We have been manned down for a long time, and just recently the Personnel Commission has given, or we as HR have taken on more responsibility. For example, letter of assurance. We used to work as a team player. This year it became HR job. Mandated certification that just became recently, that's also being given to HR for logging, which is, we're talking a lot of employees here. The same thing for the first aid and CPR logging, that used to be PC assignment that was given to them, and all of a sudden that's coming to us. I'm only here 4 hours, and these assignments are given to the receptionist, which is not part of her job description. So,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're in the hearings for the budget. So
Right.
Are you talking about the budget, or?
I'm talking about the budget. You guys are asking for another person for 2.5 hours. The HR has a need for that as well, you know. For another person to come, you know, to get more hours, is what I'm saying. Because duties have been given to the HR department now. So she's working out of class, the receptionist is working out of class. She's being given duties that are not part of hers. In reality, they're personnel technician duties. And, you know, some of us have been requesting for additional hours or, you know, more time. And we just keep being told that it's not, you know, there's no money.
You're asked to do things from personnel commission director, or you're?
No,
asked to do
my
things
supervisor
from
has told us that we're gonna be taking this assignment on, such as the letter of assurance, first aid, and stuff like that. So we're pretty much a man down too, so I'm wondering if we're taking some of the work from the PC to our department, I mean, I'm thinking there's a need for our department to be raised for a person too.
Yeah, but that would be in your department, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in the HR department. But I think Sandra's point is that we're asking them to do other things that we used to do. And the reasonable assurance letters happen once a year, and we are able to help with that process. And I was in on the conversations about doing reasonable assurance, and I said we would do our part, and the director of HR said that she would do that because you were already doing them. Now, if there's extra help that needs to be done with stuffing, sorting, or whatnot, all they have to do is ask me, and we have a 3.5-hour tech that can work the extra hours, or we could help if we have the time. But if we know when projects are coming, we would be happy to be a team player and help HR. But right now, we're short, just like you're saying you're short. We need the extra hours so that we can help us and help you, if you were needing any help.
Okay,
I just want to make some comments on that part. I think, the teacher has assisted and to allocate different, the work to different departments. And then so when the work was switched to different departments, I think if you have issues, if you have to work off time, or you don't think that you have enough time to handle things that's allocated to you, I think reflect, talk to your supervisor or manager or department head. So we go from there to see whether we need to make any decision or make any changes. And then I'm not sure for HR department, does PC in charge of evaluate the department or hire extra hands, or is that our job to do that, or it belongs to HR. Because I think there's kind of confusing that the work, you know, or the responsibility between HR and the PC. So I think there, it should be a very clear cut. Who is in charge of what? If you have issues, you have concerns, you know, talk to your supervisor, your manager, and go from there. If HR needs a PC to do things, you know, and I think they will communicate and then make changes or make switches. Because right now, you know, if you ask John, say, you know, you give me too much work, and then, you know, and in the meantime, you increase your personnel and you dump all the work to us, it seems it's not fair. But it's not her decision, and there's much more involved than just, you know, say that we are making changes for 3.5 hours per position to 5.5 hours. It's only 2 hours increase, and the reason that it's put on agenda for that is because the director see the needs and for years, and then that's it seriously affect her performance and also her staff to do the work. That's why it's here. If anyone has any concerns, you know, talk to your supervisor, your manager, and then we go from there to make changes. I think that's more reasonable to everybody.
Well, we have gone to the director to let her know that we are, you know, man down and that we're getting more duties asked of us, and even some are working out of class, so we're still getting nowhere. That's why.
I just want to be clear, Director of HR?
Of HR.
Okay.
But the assignments that are coming were formally Personnel Commission duties that were being held by that department.
Yeah, but I just want you to know that that decision wasn't done at this level. It's done, you know, at a different level, by different personnel, by different people. So there's nothing Joan can do at this point.
One other thing to mention, Andrea Lowe looked up the last time when we were cut, was back in November 2009. We lost a senior personnel technician at that time from 3.5 hours to no hours. So that was a 3.5 hour position that was lost back in 2009. I'm not asking for a 3.5 senior personnel technician. I'm just asking to increase a personnel technician position 2 hours, which in looking at the increase of 16,714 is only a 2.16% increase, and the 13% that needed to be increased is because of the additional salaries of step. So that's 13%, and we're just asking for an extra 2%, which would be 2 hours a day.
Yeah, we're not begrudging the 2 hours a day.
Okay,
I'm just
okay. I just wanted
pointing out
to
that
be
there
clear.
may be some efficiencies that we should be looking at so that we can best serve the students.
I would be happy to meet with you. Jessica would love to meet with you to talk about those efficiencies. We, this year, just have implemented self-scheduling. One of our personnel technicians didn't believe in it before, and when she started getting a couple hundred applications, we said, we're not going to screen all the applications. When we notify the applicants, we're not screening it. Here's the minimum qualifications. I hope you meet them, because even if you pass the test and you don't meet the qualifications, you're going to be screened out. But we sent those out, and the applicants, even custodians and food service assistants, are able to self-schedule, which is amazing because of the computer literacy, and we're very excited about it. And our technician now believes in self-screening, and it's self-scheduling, and it's not self-screening, but self-scheduling. And it's really worked amazing, and we can track how many people are going into the time slots. We've set up 50, and we don't do 4 a day, even though we know there might be 200. We do 2 and let them fill up, because a lot of people won't self-schedule, even though we remind them to do it. So that is an efficiency we've implemented because due to the workload. But I'd be interested in talking to you further about that, Mr. Bixler.
I wish there is a standard that we can compare. How do you judge whether the system is efficient or not? I mean, we need to first search. I mean, just by pick up a number, then it's not too accurate.
Additionally, there's recruitments that we run that don't get filled. So you might start a whole recruitment that's going to take us 3 months of time, which at the end, nobody fills because the position's on hold now, or things have changed in the environment that don't allow that position to be filled, which we have no control over. but we still produce all of the work to get there. So although it might not seem that there was no fruit from that tree, we did take a lot of time to plant it and water it and make sure that we had, end results in that. So those are other factors that also are not always considered. It's not
I
always-
think we need to come back to our hearings. We opened at 4:44, so if there are no other questions, I'm going to close the hearings. And the hearing is closed at 5:16. Okay, next agenda item. 6.1, we adopt the personnel commission budget for 2016 to 2017. We move, and I'll second. All in favor, please say aye. 6.2, approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 5th, 2016. It's reference 6.2.
I'm sorry, could we go back to the prior agenda item? I would like to make some comment on this, the budget.
Okay.
I'm really sorry about this. I have looked at the budget and then talked to Joan about it. I think there was one change that concerns many people is that the position for 3.5 hours changed to 5.5 hours. As far as I know, we used to have like two senior personnel tag position, 1.5, one's 8 hours, one 4 hours, and during the budget cut, that 4 hours position was eliminated and never put back.
Just to
So
clarify, we found out it was 3.5 hours,
3.5,
just
yeah.
for the record.
Okay, so the PC has been working understaffed, and I think the whole district has been doing that for a long time during the budget cut, and I know that the board has been, greatly appreciated all the efforts that put in, from every department and personnel. And right now, because of the changes that in the workload, and because of this study that is going to held, so that Joan saw the needs that we need to increase these hours. Actually, the work's been there. It just, the position wasn't officially changed from 3.5 to 5.5. So I asked, I said, why? I said, then who was doing the work? And apparently, many people are working overtime to get the work done. It's not, there's nothing to do. There's work there. It just, it wasn't assigned to one specific person, and everybody was sharing the responsibility. And as far as I know, the people who took the responsibility are at much higher pay scale. So in other words, we are spending more money for a person to do a lower level work. I wouldn't say lower, at a different level work, which wasn't probably is efficient or a good resource or location or budget, when we manage a district like this. So that's why, to me, my position, I think, when people work overtime, that severely impact their family life and also their mood, when they do the work. I think you can work overtime 1-2 hours once a week, or once a while, but constantly you have to work overtime. And it doesn't matter whether you get paid or not, it severely impacts your life, personal life, and also the professional life. So that's why, I think that's why, we are making this change and to approve this budget. I just want, people to know that the reason and that behind, the reason of why this one is here and why we are approving it. Thank you.
So that'll go in the discussion part of the 6.1.
We already passed 6.1, so it's 6.2 now.
Yeah.
Approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 5th, 2016, reference 6.2. Judy moved. I'll second it. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Okay, so we can go for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
6.3, receive the draft of the Personnel Commission's meeting schedule for 2016 and 2017. We don't need it's a tentative schedule.
Yeah, it's tentative, but the only meetings we're changing from the first Tuesday of the month is July meeting, which, it's hard to come back after 4th of July on July 5th and have a meeting, only because people might want to take time off after that holiday. So July 12th, it's historically been the second week anyway. And the other meeting is January 10th due to the 3 weeks off during the holidays at the winter break.
Before the spring break.
I think we looked at April 4th, but
2017.
did you look at the calendar? I will look at that. I thought we worked around spring break. I thought I gave it a double look, but if we have to change that, we'll come back and let you know at the next meeting. Okay? It's just tentative.
Okay, number 7, items for discussion and or action, 7.1. Advanced salary step placement, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a lot for the advanced salary step placement.
Yeah, just do
This
one at a
is-
time.
Okay, we have to do one at a time. Yeah, number 8, consider approving the advanced salary step placement request from Mitchell Brutner, principal to employee applicant ID 27112154 in the class of office assistant, bilingual bilingual Mandarin at step D of range 18 on the classified salary schedule. It's a reference of motion by Judy and second by me, Sabrina. All in favor, please say aye. Number B, consider approving the advanced salary step placement request from Stuart Moe, Director, to employ as applicant ID 266-07304 in the class of irrigation system technician at step B of range 22.5 on the classified salary schedule, reference 7.1B. Second by Sabrina, all in favor, please say aye. Number C, consider approving the advanced salary step placement request from Don Fernald, Chief of Police, to employ applicant ID 7621753 in the class of school police officer at step E of range 22.5 on the classified salary schedule. Motion by Judy and second by Sabrina. All in favor, please say aye. Number D, consider approving advanced salary step placement request from Phil George, Director of Technology Services, to employ applicant ID 264-99204 in the class of Technology Specialist 1 at step D of range 26.5 on the classified salary schedule. Can I have a motion? Second by Sabrina. In favor, please say aye. Okay, number E, consider approving the advanced salary step placement request from Phil George, Director of Technology Services, to employ applicant ID 22752464 in the class of Technology Specialist 1 at step B of range 26.5 on the classified salary schedule. Second. In favor, please say aye. Number F, consider approving the advanced salary step placement request from Phil George, Director of Technology Services, to employ applicant ID 26386313 in the class of Technology Specialist 1 at step D of range 26.5 on the classified salary schedule. Second. Sabrina, all in favor, please say aye. Motion carried. Number G, consider approving the advanced salary step placement request from Phil George, Director of Technology Services, to employ applicant ID 22366310 in the class of Technology Specialist 1 at step E of range 26.5 on the classified salary schedule. Sabrina, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, number 8, examinations and eligibility lists. 8.1, we have exam review and recruitment bulletins, reference 8.1. Receive the following information, a summary of the following examination and recruitment bulletins. So we have school office manager, and school office manager bilingual Spanish, secretary and secretary bilingual Spanish. These are open, and the bulletins are on reference 8.1. Any questions or comments? No? Okay. 8.2. 8.2, employee selection results. We have received the following results of the examinations held. Thank you. And then 8.3 is the ratification of eligibility list. We need to ratify the following eligibility list. It's on reference 8.3 following. Should we just?
You can say A through L.
A through L, okay. A is cafeteria lead worker 1. B is campus aide. C is community liaison, bilingual Spanish. D, food service assistant 1. E, instructional assistant 2. F, instructional assistant 2, bilingual Korean. G is instructional assistant 2, bilingual bilateral Korean. H is instructional assistant 2, bilingual bilateral Mandarin. I is instructional assistant 2, bilingual Spanish. J is instructional assistant 2, bilingual bilateral Spanish. K is library technician. L is senior office assistant, bilingual bilateral Spanish. Motion by Judy and second by Sabrina. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Okay, 8.4.
It's only gonna be D.
Okay. Removal of names from the eligibility list. We need to ratify the removal of names from the following list. Since we removed number A from the agenda, so we just need to ratify number B. It's the school bus driver. It's ID number 206-64537 pursuant to PC Rule 6.1.10 and 6.1.10.6. Motion by Judy and second by Sabrina. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Just two of us. Closed session, we cancel. Oh, right. Questions?
Okay, before you close, if you want, is it okay if I say something? We have been encouraging our members to come to the Personnel Commission meeting and to express their concerns. And so we just wanted to give you a heads up that we are encouraging members to come and speak at the meeting. And I feel that, and I appreciate that we can tell them to do that, and knowing that you do not intimidate them, because, and that's why we want them to come and to know the Personnel Commission. And I think you have, the people that have come, you have shown yourself not to be intimidating, you listen to what they have to say, and I don't think there's any, sometimes they feel like there's going to be repercussions, and I don't think they should have that concern. So I want you to know that we are, letting our members know that, and we are encouraging them to come and speak more often to the Personnel Commission, so that we see more places.
Thank you. So, if no other questions or comments, we're gonna close this. Oh, we have number 10. The next regular Personnel Commission meeting is scheduled on Tuesday, June 7th, 2016 at 4:30 p.m. at this podium. Okay, with that, we're gonna adjourn the meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? You want to second it? All in favor, please say aye. Okay, the